When I think back to the moment it all began, I realize now that I was never really good at hiding things. My name is Emily Parker, and if you had asked anyone who knew me, they would have told you that I was always the responsible one, the dependable one, the girl who had her life figured out. That was the mask I wore every day, and for the most part, people believed it. What they didn't know was that behind closed doors, I carried secrets, words written in a faded journal that I swore no one would ever see. It wasn't that my secrets were dangerous, but they were mine, raw and unfiltered. They were the parts of me I didn't think anyone would understand. And yet, life has a way of catching you when you least expect it, forcing you to confront the very things you tried to bury. It was a rainy afternoon when everything shifted. I was in my room, curled up on the bed with my old leather-bound journal in my hands. The pages were worn, edges frayed, filled with years of scribbled thoughts, confessions, fears, and even regrets. Some entries were from when I was a teenager, full of dramatic emotions and dreams that never came true. Others were recent, darker, the kind of truths I would never dare to say out loud. I didn't hear the door open at first. My cousin Michael, who had been staying with us for a few weeks while in town for work, stepped into the room without knocking. I jumped, slamming the journal shut, but it was too late. His eyes caught the nervous way I held it against my chest. "What's that?" he asked, raising an eyebrow, a teasing smile tugging at his lips. "Nothing," I said too quickly, trying to sound casual but failing miserably. "Doesn't look like nothing," he said, walking further into the room. His tone wasn't harsh, just curious. Michael had always been the kind of person who noticed things others ignored. My heart raced. For reasons I couldn't explain, I felt like a child caught red-handed. "It's private," I muttered, hoping that would be the end of it. But Michael didn't leave. Instead, he sat down on the chair near my desk and leaned forward slightly. "Emily, I've known you all my life. You're not usually this jumpy. What's in that book?" I didn't answer. My throat tightened as I stared at the journal. The weight of it felt heavier than ever. He must have seen the way my hands trembled, because his teasing smile faded into something softer. "Hey, I'm not here to judge. You look like you're carrying a lot. Maybe it's something you shouldn't have to carry alone." I swallowed hard. Part of me wanted to laugh it off, change the subject, and lock the journal away where no one could find it. But another part of me, the part that was tired of holding it all in, wanted to trust him. I took a shaky breath. "It's just my secrets. Things I never told anyone. Some of it's embarrassing. Some of it's painful. I write it down so I don't lose myself." Michael didn't say anything right away. He just nodded like he understood more than I expected. That night, after he left me alone, I sat staring at the journal for hours. I thought about the memories written inside, my struggles in college when I pretended to be perfect but nearly collapsed from stress, the heartbreak I felt when my best friend moved away without saying goodbye, the guilt I carried for things I said to my mother during arguments I could never take back. Each page was a mirror of the person I used to be and the person I was still becoming. The next morning, I found Michael sitting at the kitchen table with a mug of coffee. He looked up and said, "You don't have to tell me what's in there. But if you ever feel like sharing, I'll listen." I don't know what it was about the way he said it, gentle, patient, without expectation, but it broke something inside me. For years, I had convinced myself that my secrets were mine alone to bear. But suddenly, I realized how exhausting it had been to live that way. A few days later, I finally opened up. Not everything at once, but enough to let him see that behind the image of perfect Emily was someone messy, complicated, and scared. I told him about the times I felt like I didn't belong, about the nights I cried myself to sleep over mistakes I couldn't fix, about the pressure I put on myself to be flawless when all I wanted was to be real. Michael listened. He didn't interrupt, didn't try to fix me, didn't even look shocked. He just sat there, nodding, his eyes steady on mine. And in that moment, I felt lighter. What surprised me most was that he didn't think less of me. If anything, he seemed to respect me more. "Emily," he said one evening as we walked through the park, "you don't have to be perfect for people to love you. Sometimes, it's your flaws that make you real. And real is better than perfect." His words stayed with me. Over the next weeks, I began to share more, and in return, he shared pieces of himself too. I learned that he also carried regrets, fears, and things he never told anyone. It made me realize that everyone, no matter how strong they appear, is holding on to something. The journal that once felt like a burden became a bridge. Instead of hiding it away, I let it become a reminder that secrets don't have to isolate us. They can connect us if we let them. The day I finally handed the journal to Michael and told him to read it was the day I felt free. He read in silence, page by page, sometimes smiling, sometimes frowning, sometimes wiping his eyes. When he finished, he closed it gently and looked at me with an expression I'll never forget. "You're stronger than you think," he said softly. "And you're not alone anymore." For the first time in years, I believed it. Looking back now, I know that being caught with my secrets wasn't the disaster I feared. It was the beginning of healing. Sometimes, the things we hide the most are the very things that set us free when we finally let them out. And in the end, Michael didn't just catch me playing with secrets. He helped me understand that the truth, no matter how heavy, is always lighter when it's shared.